Think and Grow Rich Book Summary. This is a summary of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which was published in 1937, and despite being over 80 years old, this is one of the most relevant readings today regarding financial freedom. First step: desire. Napoleon Hill speaks of 13 steps to wealth, desire being the essential first step. Every dreamer must start with the state of mind of wanting to be and doing as a starting point to attract success. Combine this state with the sense of imagination and avoid indifference, laziness, or lack of ambition. To attract money into your life, it is important that you believe it as a starting point, and although it may take time for the first results to manifest, it is important to know that risk is part of this process. In this way, one can maintain a state of mind that is the desire to win, which is essential for success. One must realize that all who have accumulated great fortunes have first dreamed, hoped, wished, wanted, thought, and planned before they acquired the money. Every human being who reaches the age of understanding the reason for money wants money. But wanting it is not enough to attract riches. One must have an almost obsessive mental state to plan the ways and means to acquire them, and execute those plans with a perseverance that does not accept failure. Only then will you attract wealth. We continue in a world that is constantly changing. Even after 80 years since this book was first published, still the world we live in demands new ideas, new ways of doing things, new leaders, new inventions, new methods of teaching, new marketing methods, new books, new literature, new ideas for film. And likewise, this world also requires practical dreamers who can and put their dreams into action to achieve this. Practical dreamers have always been and will be the ones who set the parameters of civilization. The world has become accustomed to new discoveries and has shown its willingness to reward dreamers who bring new ideas to the world, so this is an excellent opportunity to start building ideas today. The men and women who will endure over time are those who dreamed and translated their dreams into organized ideas. There is a difference between wanting something and being ready to receive it. Nobody is ready for something until they believe they can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, and not mere hope or wish. An open mind is essential to believe. Closed minds do not inspire faith, courage, or conviction. Second step: faith. Faith is developed by the affirmative repetition of commands to the subconscious mind. The emotions of faith, love, and sex, when mixed with any thought impulse, give it greater action than any one of these emotions alone can do. The subconscious mind can be transmuted into its physical equivalent. A mind dominated by positive emotions becomes a favorable haven for the state of mind known as faith. And when an original seed of an idea, plan, or purpose is planted in the mind, it is easier to transmit it through the repetition of the thought. As you take inventory of your mental assets and liabilities, you'll discover that your greatest weakness is a lack of self-confidence. This handicap can be overcome, and shyness can be turned into courage, by the principle of autosuggestion. Application of this principle can be done by recording positive thought impulses, memorizing them, and repeating them until they become a working part of your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind. The chemical laboratory in which all thought impulses are combined and prepared for translation into physical reality. It makes no distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. It works with the material we feed it, through our thought impulses. The subconscious mind will translate a thought driven by fear into reality just as easily as it will translate a thought driven by courage or faith into reality. The methods of the past, based on economic combinations of force and fear, will be replaced by the more just principles of faith and cooperation. So it is important to conclude that both poverty and wealth are derived from thought. Third step: autosuggestion. This step refers to the means of influencing the subconscious mind. Autosuggestion is a term that applies to all self-administered suggestions and stimuli that come to our mind through the five senses. In other words, autosuggestion is the suggestion of oneself. It is the communication agency between that part of the me where conscious thought takes place, and what serves as the seat of action of the subconscious mind. An individual may voluntarily feed his subconscious mind with thoughts of a constructive nature or, through neglect, allow thoughts of a destructive nature to find their way into that rich garden of the mind. When visualizing the money that you intend to accumulate, see yourself providing a service or delivering the merchandise that you intend to give in exchange for that money. This is important. Man can become the master of himself and of his environment, because he has the power to influence his own subconscious mind and through it, gain the cooperation of finite intelligence. If you like this video, please subscribe, it's free. It costs you nothing, and it helps me a lot. If you really like this summary, give it a go. I like it. So YouTube will recommend this video to more people. Thank you for subscribing and liking it. Now let's continue. Fourth step, specialized knowledge. There are two types of knowledge. One is general and the other is specialized. The accumulation of great fortunes requires power, and power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge, but the knowledge need not necessarily be in the possession of the man who accumulates the fortune. The man who can organize and direct a work team made up of people who have useful knowledge for the accumulation of money is as educated as any member of his team. Everything that is acquired effortlessly and without cost is generally little appreciated, and often discredited. One of the strange things about human beings is that we value only that which has a price. People have a weakness for which there is no remedy. It is the universal weakness of lack of ambition. Fifth step, imagination. The workshop of the mind. The imagination is literally the workshop where all man-made plans are forged. Of all the ages of mankind, this is the most favorable for the development of the imagination, because it is a time of rapid change. Everywhere, one can connect with the stimuli that develop the imagination. Man's only limitation, within reason, is in the development and use of his imagination. The imaginative faculty works in two ways. One of them is known as synthetic imagination, and the other as the creative imagination. The synthetic imagination, by means of this faculty, one can modify old concepts, ideas, or plans in new combinations. It is the faculty most used by the inventor. The creative imagination, man has direct communication with the infinite intelligence. The great leaders of business, industry, and finance, and the great artists, musicians, poets, and writers, were great because they developed the faculty of creative imagination. Desire is just a thought, an impulse. It is vague and ephemeral. It is abstract and has no value until it has been transformed into its physical counterpart. Although the synthetic imagination is the one that is most frequently used in the process of transforming the impulse of desire into money, you must take into account the fact that you could face circumstances and situations that require the use of creative imagination. Ideas are the starting points of all fortunes. Ideas are products of the imagination. An idea is an impulse of thought that stimulates action by means of an appeal to the imagination. That's how ideas are. First, you give ideas life, action, and direction, and then they take on their own power and remove all obstacles. Ideas are intangible forces, but they have more power than the physical brains that create them. They have the power to continue living after the brain that created them has returned to dust. Sixth step, organized planning. The crystallization of desire in action. If the first plan you adopt is unsuccessful, replace it with another, and if this new plan doesn't work, then change it to another, and so on, until you find a plan that works. This is the point where most men meet with failure, due to their lack of perseverance, to create new plans to replace those that have failed. If his experience turns out to be a failure, it will be for the reason that he lacks the fire of perseverance to rebuild his plans. There are two kinds of people in the world. The first are leaders and the second are followers. Most great leaders started out as followers. They became great leaders because they were smart followers. With few exceptions, the man who cannot follow a leader intelligently will not be able to convert. Become an effective leader. The man who can follow faster. An intelligent follower has many advantages, among them the opportunity to gain knowledge from the leader of him. These are the main qualities of leadership. 1. The unshakable value based on the knowledge of oneself and of the occupation of it. 2. Self-control. 3. A great sense of justice. 4. Accuracy in decisions. 5. Accuracy in plans. 6. The habit of doing more than your fair share. 7. A pleasant personality. Leadership demands respect. 8. Sympathy and understanding. 9. Mastery of details. 10. Willingness to take full responsibility. 11. Cooperation. There are two forms of leadership. The first, and by far the most effective, is leadership with the consent and support of followers. The second is leadership by force, without the consent and support of followers. Top 10 causes of leadership failure. 1. Inability to organize details. 2. Unwillingness to render humble service. 3. The expectation of a reward for what they know instead of what they do with what they know. 4. Fear of competition from followers. 5. Lack of imagination. 6. Selfishness. 7. Lack of moderation. 8. Disloyalty. 9. The emphasis on the authority of leadership. 10. The emphasis in the title. One should adopt and follow the formula CCE, which means that quality plus quantity and proper spirit of cooperation equals perfect sales service. The quality of the service will be interpreted in the sense of the behavior of all the details, in relation to their position, in the most efficient way possible, with the object of greater efficiency always in mind. The quantity of the service is understood as the habit of rendering all the services that you can, at all times, with the purpose of increasing the quantity of the service rendered, since we develop greater skill, through practice and experience. The emphasis is again placed on the word habit. The spirit of service will be interpreted in the sense of the habit of a pleasant and harmonious behavior that induces the cooperation of partners and co-workers. The importance of a pleasant personality has been highlighted as a factor that allows one to render services in the proper spirit. The 30 main causes of failure. 1. Unfavorable hereditary background. 2. The lack of a well-defined purpose in life. 3. The lack of ambition to be above mediocrity. 4. Insufficient education. Education is not about knowledge, but about knowledge applied, effectively and persistently. People get paid, not just for what they know, but most of all for what they do with what they know. 5. Lack of self-discipline. 6. Poor health. 7. Unfavorable environmental influences during childhood. 8. Procrastination. 9. Lack of perseverance. 10. Negative personality. 11. Lack of control of sexual desire. 12. The uncontrollable desire for something for nothing. 13. The lack of a well-defined decision-making power. Indecision and procrastination are twin sisters. 14. One or more of the 6 basic fears. 15. Wrong selection of a partner in marriage. 16. Excessive caution. 17. Wrong selection of partners in business. 18. Superstition and prejudice. 19. Wrong selection of a vocation. 20. Lack of concentration on effort. 21. The habit of indiscriminate spending. 22. Lack of enthusiasm. 23. Lack of moderation. 24. Inability to cooperate with others. 25. Having a power that has not been acquired through one's own effort. Getting rich quick is more dangerous than poverty. 26. Willful dishonesty. 27. Selfishness and vanity. 28. You guess instead of thinking. 29. Lack of capital. 30. The lack of action. Capital does not consist only of money, but above all of highly organized and intelligent groups of men who plan how to use money most efficiently for the good of the public, and to make it profitable for themselves. There is only one reliable method of accumulating and legally possessing wealth, and that is by rendering a useful service. If you like this video, please subscribe, it's free. It costs you nothing, and it helps me a lot. If you really like this summary, give it a go. I like it. So YouTube will recommend this video to more people. Thank you for subscribing and liking it. Now let's continue. 7th step, decision. The domain of procrastination. Procrastination, the opposite of decision, is a common enemy that almost everyone must overcome. Analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well in excess of $1 million revealed the fact that each of them was in the habit of making decisions quickly, and of changing these decisions slowly, if at all. They just changed them. Most people who fail to accumulate enough money for their needs are generally easily influenced by the opinions of others. If you are influenced by the opinions of others, you will have no desire of your own. Follow your own advice as you begin to put the principles outlined here into practice by making your own decisions and putting them into practice. Choose only those that will be in total synchronization and harmony with your purpose. You have a brain and a mind of your own, use them and make your own decisions. If you need facts or information from other people in order to make decisions, as you probably will in many cases, do so discreetly, and without disclosing your purpose. It is characteristic of people who have little knowledge to try to give the impression that they have a lot. Keep your eyes and ears open, and your mouth shut, if you want to get into the habit of making a quick decision. Those who make decisions promptly, and without hesitation know what they want, and usually get it. Leaders in all walks of life decide quickly and decisively. That is the main reason why they are leaders. The world has a habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going. 8th step, perseverance. The sustained effort necessary to move faith. The basis of perseverance is willpower. Men who amass great fortunes are believed to be cold-blooded and sometimes ruthless. But they are often misunderstood. What they have is willpower, which they combine with perseverance, which supports their desires and ensures that they achieve their goals. Most people are willing to give up their goals and purposes and give up at the first sign of obstacles or adversity. Some keep going despite the obstacles and reach their goal. Lack of perseverance is a weakness common to most men. It is a weakness that can be overcome with effort. How easily you can overcome a lack of perseverance will depend entirely on the intensity of your desire. If you choose your work team carefully, you will have at least one person in it who will help you develop perseverance. Some men who have amassed great fortunes did so out of necessity. They developed the habit of perseverance because they were so pressured by circumstances that you had to persevere. Perseverance is based on definite causes, including the following: a definite purpose, self-confidence, defined plans, accurate knowledge, cooperation, willpower, habit. Symptoms of lack of perseverance: 1. Not recognizing and clearly defining exactly what one wants. 2. Procrastination. 3. Lack of interest in acquiring specialized knowledge. 4. Indecision. 5. The habit of resorting to excuses instead of creating definite plans for solving problems. 6. Self-satisfaction. 7. Indifference. 8. The habit of blaming others for one's mistakes and accepting that unfavorable circumstances are inevitable. 9. Weakness of desire. 10. The will, or even the tendency, to give up at the first sign of defeat. 11. Lack of organized plans. 12. The habit of not insisting on one's own ideas. 13. Wanting instead of wishing. 14. The habit of settling for poverty instead of aiming for wealth. 15. Finding all the shortcuts to wealth. 16. Fear of criticism. Fear of criticism is responsible for destroying most ideas, which never make it to the planning and action stage. Riches do not respond to desires. They respond only to definite plans, backed by concrete desires, through constant perseverance. 9th step, power of the work team. Power, as the term is used here, refers to the organized effort that enables a person to transmute desire into its monetary equivalent. Organized effort occurs through the coordinated efforts of two or more people working for a definite purpose in a spirit of harmony. The economic characteristic is evident. Economic advantage can be created by anyone who surrounds himself with the advice, counsel, and cooperation of a group of people willing to help him wholeheartedly, in a spirit of perfect harmony. This form of cooperative alliance has been the basis of almost all great fortunes. If you understand this very important truth, you will be able to definitively determine your financial situation. 10th step, the mystery of the transmutation of sex. The meaning of the word transmute is, in simple terms, the change or transfer of one element or form of energy to another. The thrill of sex brings with it a state of mind. The desire for sexual expression is innate and natural. Desire cannot and must not be stifled or eliminated. However, it must be given an outlet through the forms of expression that enrich the body, mind, and spirit of man. If it is not given this way out through transmutation, it will try to do so through purely physical channels. If it is not transmuted into a creative effort, it will find a less dignified exit. Fortunately, the person who discovers how to give sexual emotion an outlet, through some kind of creative effort, will rise to the level of genius. The 10 stimuli of the mind. The human mind responds to stimuli, through which it can be excited to high levels of vibration, known as enthusiasm, creative imagination, intense desire, etc. The stimuli to which the mind responds most freely are the following. 1. The desire for sexual expression. 2. Love. 3. A burning desire for fame, money, or financial gain. 4. The music. 5. A friendship between people of the same sex, or of the opposite sex. 6. An alliance in, work team, based on the harmony of 2 or more people who join forces for spiritual or temporal progress. 7. Mutual suffering, such as that experienced by people who are persecuted. 8. Autosuggestion. 9. Fear. 10. Narcotics and alcohol. The reality of a sixth sense has been very well established. This sixth sense is the creative imagination. Creative imagination works best when the mind is vibrating at a very high rate. That is, when the mind is operating at a higher rate of vibration than ordinary or normal thought. When the brain has been stimulated into action by one or more of the 10 mental stimuli, this has the effect of lifting the individual far above the horizon of ordinary thought, and enables him to visualize distance, range, and distance. Quality of thoughts, which are not available on the lower plane, such as those one has when one is dedicated to the solution of professional and business problems. This energy can be communicated to others through the following means. 1. Handshake. 2. Tone of voice. 3. Posture and body bearing. 4. Thought vibrations. 5. Body beautification. Between the ages of 30 and 40, man begins to learn the art of sex transmutation. This discovery is usually accidental, and more often than not, the man who makes it is totally unaware of the discovery of him. The path to genius is through the development, control, and use of sex, love, and romance. The process can be briefly expressed as follows. Encourage the presence of these emotions as the dominant thoughts in a person's mind, and discourage the presence of all destructive emotions. The mind is a creature of habit. Flourishes with dominant thoughts. Through the faculty of willpower, one can discourage the presence of any emotion and encourage the presence of any other. Control of the mind, through the power of the will, is not difficult. Control comes from perseverance and habit. The secret of control lies in understanding the process of transmutation. If you like this video, please subscribe, it's free. It costs you nothing, and it helps me a lot. If you really like this summary, give it a go. I like it. So YouTube will recommend this video to more people. Thank you for subscribing and liking it. Now let's continue. 11th step, the subconscious mind. The link. The subconscious mind receives and stores sensory impressions or thoughts, regardless of their nature. You can voluntarily plant any plan, thought, or purpose you desire into your subconscious mind, and translate it into its physical or monetary equivalent. The subconscious first acts on the dominant desires that have been combined with emotional sensations such as faith. Remember that your subconscious mind works voluntarily, regardless of whether you make any effort to influence it or not. This naturally suggests to you that thoughts of fear and poverty, as well as all negative ones, serve as stimuli to your subconscious mind, unless you master these urges and give them more desirable foods to feed upon. Everything that man creates begins in the form of a thought impulse. Man cannot create anything that he has not first conceived in his thoughts. Through imagination, thought impulses can be transformed into plans. The imagination, when under control, can be used to create plans or purposes that lead to success in a chosen occupation. The 7 main positive emotions. 1. Desire. 2. Faith. 3. Love. 4. Sex. 5. Enthusiasm. 6. Romance. 7. Hope. Master these 7 emotions, which can only be mastered by use, and the other positive emotions will be there for you when you need them. We will not be aware of money if we fill our minds with negative emotions. The 7 main negative emotions: 1. Fear. 2. Jealousy. 3. Hate. 4. Revenge. 5. Greed. 6. Superstition. 7. Anger. Positive and negative emotions cannot occupy the mind at the same time. One must prevail. It is your responsibility to ensure that positive emotions are the dominant influence in your mind. In this regard, the law of habit will come to your aid. Get in the habit of applying and using positive emotions. In time, these will dominate your mind so completely that the negatives will not be able to enter. 12th step: the brain. A transmitting and receiving station of thought. The creative imagination is the receiving apparatus of the brain that receives thoughts released by other people's brains. It is the communication agency between the conscious mind, or reasoning, and the force sources from which thought stimuli can be received. The subconscious mind is the sending station of the brain through which thought vibrations are transmitted. 13th step: the sixth sense. The door to the temple of wisdom. The sixth sense, through which infinite intelligence can and will communicate voluntarily, without any effort or demand on the part of the individual. The sixth sense is that part of the subconscious mind, which has been termed as the creative imagination. It has also been called the receiver apparatus, through which ideas, plans, and thoughts flash into the mind. Flashes are sometimes called hunches or inspirations. The sixth sense is probably the means of contact between the finite mind of man and the infinite intelligence, and for this reason, it is a mixture of the mental and the spiritual. It is believed to be the point where the human mind comes into contact with the universal mind. The starting point of all achievement is desire. The end point is that branch of knowledge which leads to the understanding of oneself, to the understanding of others, to the understanding of the laws of nature, to the recognition and understanding of happiness. I hope you liked this summary. If so, feel free to give me your opinion in the comment box below. If you like this video, please share it on social networks to make it reach the maximum number of people. Yes, you got to this part of the video. I want to thank you for your attention, and I hope this information will help you a lot. If you like the video, I recommend that you subscribe to the channel is free. It costs you nothing, and it helps me a lot to continue creating content. Turn on notifications. This will notify you when I upload new videos. And I ask you to help me with a like so YouTube will recommend this video to more people. Share this video with that person who you know needs this information. Always think big. Always remember that there are no limits. Have a great day. Wishes you think big, global entrepreneur.